Right now, a youth arts center is set to break ground today. We're there live sharing how the creators hope it will reach and inspire all of our area kids.
And shocking new video shows a tornado ripping through parts of Dallas, Texas overnight. We'll have the latest on that ahead.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on a Monday morning. It is October 21st. I'm Josh Breiter.
And I'm Susan Simon. Leah Linscheid is taking a little more time to be with her family this week, so I'm happy to be back with you.
We're happy to have you.
And it's going to be a little bit of a rainy day today, rainy days and Mondays.
That seems to be the theme, at least today. We're tracking the rain right now. It's just now arriving into western Wisconsin. It's still got a couple hours before it gets to us. It's been a very slow-moving band of rain this morning, but nonetheless, it is certainly on the radar, especially as you work your way towards the Mississippi River. This has been gradually moving in over about the past couple of hours. It'll take a few more hours before it actually gets to us. More rain will likely be moving in from the south during this time, as well as the overall system continues to push towards the north and east. Moisture is increasing out ahead of that. We do have winds out of the south and southeast this morning. Those winds are going to be staying on a very strong and very breezy note. Sustained winds will be upwards of 25 to 30 miles per hour today, with wind gusts of 35 to 40 miles per hour today. And that's even with the heavy rain that'll likely begin to move in probably around 9 or 10 o'clock. Temperature-wise, we'll jump from 50 to 55 by lunchtime. We'll see some scattered showers earlier on this afternoon, but I do think we'll actually see some sunshine closer towards the evening commute. Temperatures will be near 59 degrees before the clouds come right back around, along with those chances for some showers. Right now, this is East Wash at 2nd Street. No major issues showing up, but there's certainly some construction to track this morning. We will continue to keep an eye on the traffic as we go all throughout your Monday. Let's drive safely today, folks.
All right, Chris, thank you. Time right now is 6:02, and we're tracking breaking news out of Dallas, Texas this morning, where many homes are destroyed and residents are being evacuated after at least one tornado touchdown overnight.
It's been a very long night for those folks. Trees are splintered and bricks are scattered across roads across the Dallas metro area. The initial round of severe weather started just after 9 last night. More than 145,000 customers were without power. Now, almost 120,000 are still in the dark. Residents who witnessed the damage say they are very thankful it wasn't worse for them.
It was just like out of a movie, you know. We heard this weird, this strong wind, and we didn't know it was, it was a tornado and this would happen. It could have been us. Luckily, it was not us. Unfortunately, it's sad that this happened to the neighbors in front of our house.
Meteorologists at the CBS station in Dallas say this was the second round of severe storms. Winds reached up to 60 miles per hour. At least 6 people were hurt and 4 homes are uninhabitable. One person in Arkansas has also died as a result of this storm system.
Right now, crews are looking for a small plane after it was lost on radar overnight. The Raleigh-Durham International Airport said air traffic controllers couldn't find the aircraft on radar just before 7:30 as it was approaching the airport. The aircraft was a Piper PA-32. It's a single-engine plane, usually with only around 6 seats. Airport operations were shut down for around 20 minutes as fire and rescue units were sent around a heavily forested state park nearby in hopes of finding the plane. The airport spokeswoman says it could take a very long time for them to find that plane and that, quote, no one is going home until the plane is found.
In local breaking news overnight, 3 people are displaced this morning after a fire that the Madison Fire Department thinks may have been intentionally set. It happened at a mobile home on Starling Lane near the Dane County Airport just after 10 last night. The Madison Fire Department isn't sure if they had smoke alarms and won't say whether it's a total loss as an investigation is ongoing. The Red Cross is helping those affected, and no one was hurt. A person of interest has been identified in connection with the fire. We now know what caused an explosion in Richland County over the weekend, and some of you might have felt the explosion. Deputies got reports of homes shaking from Allison Park through the Hub City area from the explosion. They say a resident was holding a field party and shot 10 pounds of tannerite with a gun, causing all of it to blow up at once. No one was hurt, but officials are considering charges, and they remind you that tannerite is legal, but should be used correctly and for intended purposes.
A 62-year-old man is being treated for his injuries after falling off a bluff at Devil's Lake State Park. Rope rescue teams responded Sunday to a call of someone who fell off of the West Bluff at the park. The Illinois man was transported by MedFlight to UW Hospital in Madison, where he's currently being treated. No word yet on his condition.
A new development will break ground on Madison's Near East Side later today.
The $35 million project is a unique addition to the buildings going up in that area, and that's where we find our Keely Arthur this morning live to explain. Hi, Keely.
Hi, Josh and Susan. Yes, I'm on the Near East Side of Madison, just off of Ingersoll in East Mifflin. This is just off of East Washington to give people an idea of where I am at. And this is an area that's seen a ton of development, especially high rises. But what's going to go up behind me is actually really unique to the area. It's a youth art center, so very exciting. It's going to be a 65,000 square foot facility, multi-level. It's meant to provide kids in our area an opportunity to engage in all the arts, dance, music, and theater. The Children's Theater of Madison and the Madison Youth Choir, in addition to 20 other nonprofits, will use this space. It's a space that is meant for all students and kids in our area in hopes of leading Madison and Dane County's youth to a brighter future.
We're creating the next generation of innovative thinkers and creative minds, and that's what no matter where they go in life, we're not about creating the next Broadway star. If that happens, yay, but or next amazing artist, but how to foster and have them develop that art and use art in whatever they do in life.
And as you can see here, the new space is impressive. 12 rehearsal studios, 2 fully equipped dance studios, a 300-seat theater, and then a separate smaller studio theater. Now, they said they try to make this design very kid-friendly, not make it look like a classroom or a boring school. So it's inviting for kids ages birth through college. And it isn't just for kids that are interested in musical theater. They're also going to have a warehouse on set to help build props and set design. So if kids want to be handy, they can do that too. This will all become a reality by April of 2021. So kind of coming up.
Some exciting developments
looks
there.
Really cool.
It really does. Keely Arthur live in Madison this morning. Keely, thank you.
Thank you, Keely. Wisconsin Democrats will try one last time to block the so-called lame duck laws today. The state Supreme Court will hear oral arguments in a union lawsuit challenging the provisions. This summer, the High Court upheld the statutes. The law prohibits Governor Evers from withdrawing the state from lawsuits and requires Attorney General Josh Kaul to get Republican permission before settling lawsuits.
Neighbors of Blooming Grove are sharing their thoughts on the proposed F-35 jets by sending postcards to the Air Force. Many community members got together over the weekend and say they don't want the next generation fighter jets to come to Truax Field. In the postcards, they expressed concerns and questions about what the jets would mean for the residents living nearby. Representative Chris Taylor is supporting Safe Skies Clean Water Wisconsin in an effort to keep the jets out of Madison.
These planes do not belong in residential areas. They are too loud. They will disturb, if not really ruin, some of our neighborhoods.
Safe Skies Clean Water Wisconsin will host opportunities for community members to write postcards to the Air Force until Thursday.
Wisconsin lawmakers are considering a new Bill of Rights for sexual assault survivors under a proposal in the state legislature. Under the bill, survivors would be guaranteed rights like the right to choose whether or not to undergo a forensic exam and the right to be alerted before any evidence from that exam is destroyed. These rights would be in addition to the ones already guaranteed under state law for all crime victims. The bill is part of a nationwide push to establish sexual assault victims' rights in state law.
President Trump says the reaction of Democrats and the media influenced him to change his mind and take back his decision to host next year's G7 summit at his Miami resort. In a series of tweets last night, the president said he was willing to do it for no profit or at zero cost to the U.S. if legally permissible. But because of hostility, he's no longer considering Trump National Doral as the host site. President Trump made the change late Saturday night. Acting Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney doubled down on Fox yesterday.
People think it looks lousy. I think it's the right decision to change. We'll have to find someplace else, and my guess is we'll find someplace else that the media won't like either for another reason.
The president ought to be focusing not on sending a G7 to his hotel, but on what we're going to do about ISIS. When we met with the president, it was clear he had no real plan.
The New York Times reports the president called into Mulvaney's Camp David meeting with House moderates on Saturday and asked aides to find out what members thought of using Doral to host the G7. They all said it was a mistake. Now the president says in a tweet he's starting to look for another site, including Camp David. Last week, Mulvaney dismissed that idea.
The trial for a man accused of stabbing a Janesville woman to death begins today after he rejected a plea deal. 23-year-old Julian Colazzo is being charged with first-degree intentional homicide in the 2017 death of Christine Scaccia-Lubeck. Colazzo received a deal that would have reduced his charges down to first-degree reckless homicide and armed robbery. The Janesville Gazette says Colazzo's attorney will try to prove it was another woman, Nicole Kazar, who stabbed Scaccia-Lubeck. He faces life in prison if convicted. Staying in Rock County, a Milwaukee man is recovering this morning after being shot in Beloit early yesterday. It happened on the 900 block of Keeler Avenue around 5:15. The 50-year-old male victim was taken to the hospital after being shot in his left leg. Beloit police say he is expected to be okay. The shooting is still under investigation this morning.
We have some first alert traffic notes to pass along as you head out the door. Drivers in Janesville could see delays as emergency repairs are being made on a portion of Memorial Drive. The westbound lanes of that street between Milton Avenue and Garfield Street, or Garfield Drive rather, will be closed starting in just a few hours at 7 and going until 3 this afternoon. Crews will be making emergency repairs to the storm sewer system and ask that you avoid the area.
And in Beloit, the I-43 southbound ramp to County X Hart Road will be closed starting at midnight tonight until November 5th. Crews are replacing sections of pavements on the ramp and ask that you use alternate routes during the 2-week closure.
6:12 right now on a Monday morning, and still ahead for us. We're hearing from Aaron Rodgers after his perfect game against the Raiders yesterday at Lambeau. We'll show you what he had to say about the team hitting its stride.
Boy, that was something, wasn't it? And meteorologist Chris Reese is here this morning filling in for Hattie. He'll have a look at what to expect with the weather in the coming days. He says you might want an umbrella as you head out the door this morning. More details on that when News 3 this morning comes right back.
We are tracking some showers and thunderstorms that are going to be working their way into the state this morning. This is all a part of a pretty big system that brought a lot of severe weather last night to parts of the deep south. Dallas got in on a little bit of a tornado last night, and we will be waiting on the details on the ranking of that as we go throughout the day. But we're still tracking more and more showers throughout the upper Midwest. The first sight of rain is starting to arrive, especially closer towards the Mississippi River. It doesn't look all that impressive at the moment, but I do think we're going to be watching the rain shower and coverage intensity increase as we go throughout the day. More and more lightning will likely begin to show up as well. But as you work your way over towards Platteville, that's where the rain is starting to move in right now. Viroqua starting to get in on the rain. Prairie du Chien getting in on a little bit of moderate rainfall activity at the moment. And all of this slowly moves our way. If you're not in on the rain yet, you are certainly in on the cloud cover. We are certainly seeing that. That's going to be sticking around pretty much all day long as well until we get towards the afternoon, when I do think we'll see at least a chance of some sunshine out there. In the meantime, temperatures are in the 50s, 54 in Janesville right now, Mineral Point at 52, Boscobel at 55. Some 40s do show up just towards the north, but even still, those are upper 40s where the temperature is close to 50. Madison right at 50. Those winds sustained at about 14 miles per hour coming out of the east and southeast. Folks, we're going to see the sustained winds increase upwards towards about 25 to 30 miles per hour going throughout the day. Then you factor in the wind gusts, and things certainly do remain breezy. We're talking wind gusts upwards of 35 to 40 miles per hour pretty much all day long. And then we're going to be staying breezy through the overnight hours into your Tuesday as well. And all of this is combined with the rainfall that's going to be moving in. I think the heaviest rain moves in probably around 10 o'clock or so. Notice that came from the south, not the west, but the rains will be moving in from the south and then gradually pushing north. By lunchtime, I still think we'll see some heavy rain, but a lot of the heaviest of that is just towards the north at that point. Then we get in on a break. That break comes our way around 4 o'clock or so before more showers arrive overnight with cooler temperatures, windy, and showers around on Tuesday. So Tuesday itself will likely be a raw, blustery, and colder day around here, and we will stay cooler as we go through the rest of your week. 45 for the highs on Thursday and Friday. We will at least see some sunshine by the afternoon, but after today, I think it's going to take us a couple days to truly get rid of that cloud cover. Now let's head over to Jason Stone with the first look at your first alert traffic. Jason? All right, no Jason, but here's how the traffic is looking for us this morning. So far, no issues showing up on the Beltline or really any of the highways. We are starting to see the first signs of some brake lights showing up right around the Stoughton Road interchange with the Beltline. Throughout Dane County, for the most part, things are good. One stalled vehicle outbound on 151 near Sun Prairie. Headed back towards downtown, we are seeing a few brake lights and spots, but so far, most routes are cruising along with no crashes or major delays.
All right, Chris Reese doing double duty this morning. Chris, thank you very much. 6:18 right now. The Raiders haven't beat the Packers since 1987, and it probably didn't help that Aaron Rodgers played just a phenomenal game yesterday.
It was fantastic. Going into the game, Rodgers hadn't tallied 3 touchdowns in a game all season, but yesterday he went above and beyond, throwing to 8 different receivers, putting up over 400 yards and 6 touchdowns, with 5 through the air. And to top it off, he is the first Packer in the Super Bowl era to have a perfect passer rating. The turning point came late in the second quarter when the Packers got a gift in the form of a fumble, which number 12 quickly turned into a touchdown. Rodgers says the offense is finally playing up to its potential.
I feel like this has been coming. I really do. I feel like we've been building, and I've been feeling a lot more comfortable. And Matt's been feeling more comfortable with, him calling it for me and feeling when I'm in that rhythm and when to be aggressive and when to pull back.
Shoot, he be perfect passer rating all practice and stuff. Man, we be seeing that all the time. So it's he the GOAT, man. That ain't no secret.
The Packers will play Kansas City next Sunday in prime time.
Meanwhile, the Badgers aren't looking as good this morning. They're regrouping after losing to Illinois and Champaign this weekend, dropping out of the top 10 in this week's Associated Press poll. Wisconsin was previously 6th, dropping down now to 13th this morning. Ohio State jumps Clemson to number 3, which is where the Badgers are headed for this week's game. Head coach Paul Chryst will speak to reporters later this morning, and we'll hear from him later tonight on News 3 Now.
Speaking of Badger football, if you've been to Camp Randall so far this season, you've seen the new man behind the podium directing the Badger band. Corey Pompey is settling into his new life in Madison and his new role as the director of the UW Marching Band. He's directed 5 home football games in a row and made a big first impression when he added a little Beyonce and Lady Gaga to the halftime show. Pompey is the first new director of the band in 5 decades, replacing the legendary Mike Leckrone.
When Mike announced his retirement, I thought to myself, good luck to that next person. Whoever takes that job, bless you. Have a good time. I'm not going anywhere near that. I'm happy where I am, love my job, and that's that. Well, that phone call started the process that led me here.
The decision to come to Madison was not an easy one, but Corey says it is the legacy that is the Wisconsin band that made him take the job. Tonight at 10, I'll sit down with Corey to talk about his journey and his plans for the future. That's tonight on News 3 Now at 10.
I love his humor.
He is so down to earth. He's a straight shooter, and he's had a very successful transition. It's sort of like he's always been here.
Yes.
And he's making his own mark too. So
I like the Gaga and the Beyonce, some new things there too.
Yeah, so preserving traditions and then adding some things as well. So much more with Corey. It's been a momentous year for him in more ways than one too. And you'll find out why tonight at 10.
All right, looking forward to that.
But coming up next at 6, new numbers show drunk driving is down in Wisconsin, but we're still some of the highest in the country. We'll tell you where the Badger State ranks.
That's coming up after the break. But first, Chris Reese says you may want to grab that rain jacket as you head off to work or school this morning. His bus stop forecast is coming up next on News 3 Now this morning.
Well, good Monday morning, folks. It's a quiet start to the morning right now, but I don't think things will be quiet in just a matter of time. We're tracking some showers that are already starting to show up for us, especially as you work your way over towards the Mississippi River Valley. That's where the showers and even thunderstorms are right now. A lot of this has been moving in from the west, but there's more rain towards the south. A lot of that's going to be streaming northward as we go through time. That is likely when we will start to see more and more rain come our direction. I suspect that to happen probably around 9 or 10 o'clock or so. But this is all a part of a bigger system that really brought some strong storms to part of the deep south last night, including damaging winds and tornadoes. Out ahead of that, we do have a strong south to southeasterly wind. That is going to be blowing pretty much all day long. Sustained at about 25 to 30 miles per hour. Wind gusts upwards to 40 and 45 miles per hour. So do expect things to be very breezy today. Again, that rain likely moves in right around 9 o'clock or so. Temperatures should warm up towards 55 by lunch. Into the afternoon hours, we'll see the rain early, but then we get a break with some sunshine probably around the evening commute. Temperatures top out right around 59. We will see more scattered showers, though, returning as we move through the overnight hours. For the kids headed towards the bus stop, here's how things should be. Take a jacket, but I do think you'll be able to head to the bus stop without the rain earlier on. We'll see some rain around lunch. It might be dry by the time you head home as well.
All right, Chris, thank you. When it comes to driving under the influence, Wisconsin has the 9th most DUIs in America. Our state sees an average of 406 arrests per 100,000 residents. The national average is 309. Research by safehomes.org shows that since 2007, DUIs in Wisconsin have decreased by nearly 45%. Nebraska has seen the largest decrease in the U.S. 31% of traffic fatalities in Wisconsin include a drunk driver. Washington, D.C. was highest with 51%, and Utah was the lowest at just 19%.
Some of you may be commuting by bike to work or school this Monday morning. Madison is getting even more recognition for being a bike-friendly city. UW-Madison is one of 8 institutions recognized as a platinum-level bicycle-friendly university by the League of American Bicyclists. 208 colleges and universities across the country earned bronze, silver, gold, or platinum designations. The platinum designation indicates a strong bicycling program, an active campus, and local groups and sport clubs that support cycling.
It's a mixed bag of news for the UW this morning as enrollment at the University of Wisconsin system overall dropped to 2.6% compared to last year. Enrollment on the flagship Madison campus was up 2%, or 879 students. UW Green Bay, UW La Crosse, Parkside, and Superior were the only other campuses where enrollment was up. UW Stevens Point and Platteville saw the largest declines at 9.7% each. The university says it's part of a trend of fewer high school graduates and low unemployment rates amid a strong economy. All right, coming up on 629 right now and still ahead, we've got the top 3 things you need to know this morning before you head out the door.
And we're taking a look at how a new youth arts center hopes to provide new opportunities for kids in the community. Our Keely Arthur will join us live with that story when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for staying with us on this Monday morning. It's October 21st. Leland Scheid is taking a little more time to be with her family, so I'm happy to be with you for another week.
We're happy to have you here.
Thank you.
And I'm Josh Breiter, of course. We'll get an update on Chris's forecast in just a second, but first let's get to the top 3 things you need to know on a Monday morning. 1,000 U.S. troops are starting to leave Syria, but they're not coming home. They're headed to Iraq. Defense Secretary Mark Esper says from there, the U.S. military could conduct counterterrorism missions against ISIS in Syria. Residents of a Kurdish-dominated city in northern Syria pelted U.S. troops with potatoes as they drove through this morning.
A trial for 6 drug companies accused in thousands of lawsuits for their role in the opioid epidemic starts today. The defendants include 3 pharmaceutical distribution companies and Walgreens. Last week, 5 of the many companies accused in the crisis were close to a $50 billion agreement, but negotiations fell through.
Nearly 110,000 people are still without power this morning after multiple rounds of severe weather and at least 1 tornado tore through Dallas and northeast Texas overnight. The initial round of severe weather started just after 9. At least 6 people were hurt and 4 homes were destroyed. There was also a possible gas leak.
Those are the 3 things you need to know on this Monday. Chris Reese is in this morning for Hattie, and he's watching the weather. Chris?
Yeah, that's right. We could see some showers and thunderstorms of our own today, though I do not believe any of them will be on the severe side. Right now, we're mostly cloudy. Temperatures are mild to start things out at 50 degrees. It is also very breezy with sustained winds at about 14 to 15 miles per hour. Almost all of us are in the 50s this morning, but there still are a couple spots into the upper 40s. That would be the Dells and Wautoma, both at 49, Waukesha at 48. And then Sheboygan and Manitowoc also at 49 this morning. Outside of those spots, everywhere else, you're in the 50s. And you're going to want to grab a jacket as you head out the door, not because of temperatures, but perhaps a rain jacket because the rain is on the way. While it's cloudy here, there is more rain as you work your way over towards the south and west. Platteville getting in on rain right now. Same for Boscobel up towards Viroqua. That's going to be moving in towards Lone Rock and Mineral Point as we go through the next several minutes. Plan your day with the heavier rain arriving around 10 o'clock. We'll see heavier rain around lunch. It'll stay breezy. I do think we'll get in on a period of sunshine, however, right around the evening commute with temperatures in the upper 50s, and then we'll see more clouds wrapping back in overnight tonight with more showers and cool, blustery conditions into your Tuesday.
All right, Chris, thank you. A multi-million-dollar project going up on the Near East Side breaks ground today.
While part of it is a typical high-rise apartment complex, the other part is meant to bring arts to our area kids. Keely Arthur joins us live to explain. Good morning, Keely.
Good morning, Josh and Susan. Yes, I'm on the Near East Side off of Ingersoll in East Mifflin. It's just off of East Washington to give you a better idea. And this area has seen a ton of development as of late, especially high-rise apartments. But what's going up behind me is a little unique. It's a youth art center. Now, this is going to be a 65,000 square foot multi-level facility. It's meant to provide kids in our area an opportunity to engage in all of the arts, dance, music, theater, the children's Theater of Madison and Madison Youth Choir, in addition to 20 other nonprofits, will use this space. It's a space that is meant for all students in hopes of leading Madison and Dane County's youth to a bright future individually and also a brighter future for the community as a whole.
We're really focused on, as we've started this journey, of how can we make sure it's accessible to not just some, but to everyone. And so we're really working on that in our fundraising, and we're building an endowment for that and an access fund for that so that we can ensure access. And we're listening to the community because we do not have all the answers, and we really need to understand how can we ensure that people feel welcome in this space.
And as you can see here in this video, the new space is going to be impressive. 12 rehearsal studios, 2 fully equipped dance studios, a 300-seat theater, and then a separate smaller studio theater with 120 seats. Now, the designers and builders and collaborated in trying to make this space not really look like a classroom, not look like a school, rather a really inviting space to draw everyone in. They say they're going to serve kids ages birth through college. college. And just because your kiddo isn't maybe interested in dance or singing, if they like to build things, there's also something for them here too. They're going to have a warehouse for prop and set design. So a little something to engage all the youth in our community. Very exciting. And this is going to be a reality by April of 2021. Josh and Susan.
Wow, that is going to be a real
awesome.
community asset. It's something we haven't seen in Madison in a very long time. It's going to be really cool. All right, thank you, Keely.
6:37 right now. Coming up in the morning sprint, we're hearing the latest in the Julian Assange extradition case.
And first, we're taking a look at how one student is saving up to do something good to help a classmate. It's a very sweet story on a Monday morning. It is 6:37. News 3 Now this morning. We'll be right back.
All right, we've been asking you to share your morning with us, and Paula is bringing us just an incredible image out of Monticello this morning.
I think that's an Australian shepherd, am
yes.
I right?
Just kind of like blends in with the landscape right there.
That's like a weather calendar picture.
Oh my gosh, that is perfection.
Paula, that is a beautiful shot. Thank you for sharing it with us today.
If you've got a photo you'd like to share, all you have to do is send it to us over on our Facebook page, and we'll share them right here on The Morning Show. One of our favorite parts of the morning.
A Darlington High School student's project ahead of Diabetes Awareness Month in November is taking off like she never expected.
Yeah, 18-year-old Lexi Graham has had diabetes for nearly 8 years, getting used to checking her blood sugar at least 4 times a day. She was sad to find out her lifetime friend, 13-year-old Colton, got the same diagnosis. Now she's selling bracelets to raise enough money for a diabetes dog for Colton. So far, she's raised nearly $1,000.
It's a really good feeling. It's, all that hard work has really paid off, and, it's going to something good.
I'm excited and thankful for Lexi to do that.
Now we have more information on how you can help out. Just go to our website, channel3000.com.
Way to go, Lexi. That is really great.
Doing something good.
That's for sure. Speaking of bracelets, we have our Live Like Levi bracelets
yes.
on.
I don't know if we can maybe do a zoom in. I know we've only got one camera here, but over the weekend they laid Levi to rest, but they also gave away these bracelets that have Live Like Levi on them.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little inspiration on a Monday morning.
It really
gives you a little strength today.
It does.
Still ahead this morning, Chris Reese is tracking some showers making their way through the area this morning. He'll let us know when we'll need the umbrella when we come back.
But first, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can show their picture on TV. Thanks for watching News 3 Now this morning. We'll be right back.
Well, welcome to the start of the work week. We are going to be tracking some rain our direction as we go throughout the day. This is all a part of a pretty powerful system that's in play throughout the country right now. Brought strong storms down south last night. Those will not work their way our direction, but we're still going to see the rain and perhaps some lightning and some thunder. Right now, winds coming out of the south and southeast out ahead of the low that you see just back towards the south and west. All of this has been the result of that system. We're going to focus on the northern side of that. We're already starting to see a line of some showers and thunderstorms moving in. I think as we go in time, we'll start to see more and more of that shower activity kind of increase in coverage and intensity a little bit. A few showers and thunderstorms towards the south of Platteville right now. That's going to be working its way towards the north and east. Lone Rock getting ready to get in on some shower activity. And if you're not getting the showers yet, you do have the cloud cover. All of us are going to wake up to that blanket of cloud cover this morning. Weather Track really showing you where that is, and it kept temperatures on a milder note. There are only a few spots in the upper 40s this morning. Wautoma at 49, Black River Falls also at 49. Most of us are starting out in the 50s. Madison at 50 right now. It stays breezy, though. Winds out of the south and southeast or east and southeast at 14 miles per hour. Folks, watch what happens to the sustained winds going throughout the day. We will see sustained winds of 25 to 30 miles per hour. Gusty winds on top of that will likely be a lot stronger. Perhaps some gusts upwards of 35 to even 40 or 45 miles per hour at times today, especially as you work your way over towards the east. And all of this is going to be combined with the rain that's going to be moving in this afternoon. By about 10 o'clock, that's when I think we'll start to see the true heavier rain arrive from the south around here. That'll move towards the north. By lunchtime, things will still be fairly wet, and then we start to get in on a little bit of a break. So here we are by 4 o'clock, maybe some spotty showers, but I actually think we're going to dry out and actually get in on a window of some sunshine around 4 o'clock. Then later on in the evening, the clouds start to increase back in from the north and west. We'll see more showers. That'll take us into Tuesday, where we will not get out of the 40s on Tuesday, but some of us could really see a lot of water out of this. We're talking upwards towards an inch of rainfall, along with wind gusts of 40 miles per hour or so. The leaves are coming down. That's one thing that I can say with certainty. But also what's going to be coming down are the temperatures. We're looking at several cold shots as we go through the end of the month. One this weekend that will be fairly substantial, and then perhaps another one earlier on next week towards Halloween. If you're planning your Halloween costumes, go ahead and make sure it's a warm one. You're going to have to wear a jacket over the Halloween costume this year. I know that's a little far out, but all signs in the pattern have been pointing towards a colder Halloween, and I think I've bought into that. But in the meantime, we are watching the showers for today. Temperatures will be in the 40s as we go through this week, perhaps some low 50s towards the end of the weekend, and then more 40s earlier on next week. Here's your pet walk. This is Ruby in Madison. Oh my gosh. Speaking of Halloween, that's beautiful, right?
Oh, this is the best time of the year because we're going to have a dog in a Halloween costume every day this
I was
week.
going to say, it's about that time. So, yes.
So when you get to the bus stop, you may not need an umbrella, but you probably need it on the way home.
Yeah,
right?
and oddly enough, I think some of these kids might get just lucky enough that the rain happens while they're at school, but I'd take the umbrella just in case.
All right, very good. All right, thanks, Chris.
Stay with us for the morning sprint up next.
It's 6:52, time for the morning sprint as our team gets your day started with more local news.
We begin this morning with breaking news overnight of a fire. 3 people are displaced this morning after a fire that the Madison Fire Department thinks could have been set intentionally. It happened at a mobile home near the Dane County Airport just after 10 last night. The Madison Fire Department isn't sure if they had smoke alarms there. No one was hurt. A person of interest has been identified in connection with that fire.
In Dallas, more than 100,000 people are without power this morning after multiple rounds of severe weather, and at least one tornado tore through the area overnight. The initial round of severe weather started just after 9 last night. At least 6 people are injured, 4 homes are uninhabitable, and there was a possible gas leak as well.
We're waking up with temperatures right around 50, but we're going to be tracking some showers into the area as we go through the morning. Already, this has started to move in through the western part of the state. This all moves towards the east as we go through time, and we'll see even more rain moving in from the south. The heaviest likely moves in between 10 o'clock and lunchtime. Then we'll actually see several dry hours moving into this afternoon. Look for highs right around 59.
I'm on the Near East Side, just off of East Washington. It's an area that's seen a lot of development, but today the ground is going to break on something really unique right behind me, a youth art center. Now, this is going to be a 65,000 square foot facility, multi-level, state-of-the-art with multiple theaters as well. It's meant to provide kids in our area an opportunity to engage in the arts. Dance, music, theater, the Children's Theater of Madison and Madison Youth Choir will use the space in addition to 20 other nonprofits. It's meant to include access for all area kiddos. They're setting up an endowment fund to do just that. Josh?
Keely, thank you. In North Carolina this morning, crews are looking for a small plane after it was lost on radar overnight. The Raleigh-Durham International Airport said air traffic controllers couldn't find the aircraft on radar just before 7:30 as it was approaching the airport. The aircraft was a single-engine plane. The airport spokeswoman says it could take a very long time for them to find the plane.
1,000 U.S. troops are starting to leave Syria, but they're not coming home. They're headed to Iraq. Defense Secretary Mark Esper says from there, the U.S. military could conduct counterterrorism missions against ISIS in Syria. Residents of a Kurdish-dominated city in northern Syria pelted U.S. troops with potatoes as they drove through this morning.
A trial for 6 drug companies accused in thousands of lawsuits for their role in the opioid epidemic starts today. The defendants include 3 pharmaceutical distribution companies and Walgreens. Last week, 5 of the many companies accused in the crisis were close to a $50 billion agreement, but negotiations fell through.
President Trump says the reaction of Democrats and the media influenced him to change his mind and take back his decision to host next year's G7 summit at his Miami resort. In a series of tweets last night, the president said he was willing to do it for no profit or at zero cost if the U.S. is legally permissible. But because of hostility, he is no longer considering Trump National Doral as the host site.
Julian Assange, the founder of WikiLeaks, is expected to be in court today as his fight against extradition into the United States continues. Here in the States, Assange faces charges of conspiracy to hack into a Pentagon computer. Assange will appear before the Westminster Magistrates Court in London. The former Home Secretary signed an order in June allowing for his extradition.
Wisconsin lawmakers are considering a new Bill of Rights for sexual assault survivors under a proposal in the state legislature. Under the bill, survivors would be guaranteed rights like the right to choose whether or not to undergo a forensic exam and the right to be alerted before any evidence from that exam is destroyed.
Wisconsin Democrats will try one last time to block the so-called lame duck laws today. The state Supreme Court will hear oral arguments in a union lawsuit challenging the provisions. This summer, the High Court upheld the statutes. The law prohibits Governor Evers from withdrawing the state from lawsuits and requires Attorney General Josh Kaul to get Republican permission before settling lawsuits. All right, 6:57 now. A final check of your First Alert traffic with Jason Stone. Hi, Jason.
Hey, the westbound Beltline is starting to see brake lights at Stoughton Road clearing before Monona Drive. Also heavy congestion on the Verona interchange. No issues on John Nolan at this time, just routine lining up at the intersections. Finally, a disabled vehicle is blocking the right shoulder on northbound Highway 151 prior to the Bristol Street exit. With your First Alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Jason, thank you.
As we go throughout the morning, temperatures warm up towards 55 by lunchtime. We'll see more showers moving in, especially around 10 o'clock or so. This afternoon, showers will be in the picture early, but then we'll dry out. Look for temperatures around 59.
Thank you, Chris. Have a great Monday, everybody. Thanks for watching.